Good morning, YouTubes. We're back out here in the shop today, and today is all about fog lights. We're going to go ahead and put in some fog lights today. We're going to try anyway. These here are the Denali. They're just aftermarket fog lights. The factory ones, if you're looking into those, are way easier to install than these, but I'm going to make these simple and easy to install on your V85, and hopefully everything works out. We'll see. Stay tuned, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, before we get started, we're going to talk about the factory Motoguzzi fog lights first. Now, you can buy the kit, and it's got all the installation hardware, the wiring, everything you need to literally plug and play, and it's probably the easiest solution for fog lights. I've got the kit here. Let's see, comes in a great big bag with the instructions. You've got wiring harness, there's a little relay in there, here's your mounting brackets and hardware. And the rest of all of this is like individual bolts and washers, rubber. It comes with all kinds of stuff. It really does make the installation of fog lights extremely simple. I went and bought the Denali lights because they were more like a higher intensity, a little bit brighter light. I ride up here in the mountains a lot, and especially in the mornings, in the winter time where it's dark still in the morning, I need some light. Now, the factory fog lights mount right here on the front. Let's see if I can get that. Alright, so your factory fog lights, you've got a hole right back here and a hole right here that they mount to, and they're literally they're attached to the same plane as what your headlight is, meaning that when you turn, your fog lights stay with you. They don't turn into the corner with you, they stay right with your headlight. I bought these fork tube mounts for the Denalis. My hope is that, being that that they're mounted to the fork tubes, that the lights will hopefully light up the corners that I'm in while I'm driving. So we'll see. But anyway, let me get this cleaned up. Alright, so this is the harness that I made. Fog lights are going to connect right there. The Motoguzzi harness is going to connect here. And I made this up previously, it's going to make my install a little easier. And I'm going to show you all how to do it. You don't have to do it this way. This is the way I chose to do it, just because I thought it'd be easier. Alright, well, let's get started, and I'll show you where to go, show you what to look for. Alright, y'all, here we are. Oh, we are on the left side of the bike. And, excuse me, I've got the engine guards. If y'all have engine guards, you're going to be hating this too. But, it's doable. This panel here, right behind it is where your fog light harness is. And it's connected to this up here. And it runs in back behind the tank and connects down here with this one. It's held on all by these Torx. They're a T25 Torx, and once you get them all out, this little plastic panel just pops off, and I'm not going to bore you with that. I'm just going to take it off and cut back to you. Alright, so I've gone ahead and taken the 4 screws out of here. There's one up here at the top and the 3 here at the bottom. But this panel is I don't think I can get it out all the way with the crash bar on here, which, you know, might not be an issue. Let's see. Well, look at that. Look at that. Well, I didn't break it, so I guess that's a plus. Alright, so in this little pocket right here, there is a, let me see if I can get you a little closer here. I got you on a tripod, my bad. So right here is a 3-wire plug. It's kind of rectangular. It's what Motoguzzi uses for their factory fog lights that they're wired into. It's all hooked into all this other harness and kind of runs all through the bike. But I believe what I'm going to do is I'm going to take mine off, cut this off, and put a new connector on one that I'm going to use. There's 3 wires on this. Blue is going to be your ground. Your solid green here is power, and then there's another one green with a little bit of yellow, like a yellow stripe on it, and then it's going to be the signal wire, so that when your fog lights flip on, it sends the power to that signal wire, turns it on. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my harness off and get started on putting a new harness on. So I bought this cheap little kit off of Amazon, and they're kind of, I don't know what they're called, like Deutsch connectors or something like that. They're the cheapies, they're the off-brand. I'm sure some made in China stuff. Thing is, they got all the rubber seals, everything's where they're supposed to be, and they work. So I'm using these. Bought some little set of crimpers off Amazon as well, crimp all my wires with. And it's got all your pins, got everything you need, you know, make all this work. At least this is how I've done it. So you can do it any way you want. This is just one man's vision of what my harness is going to look like. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to cut off the factory harness, and I'm going to replace it with one of these plugs. And the plug harness that I made, wherever, and if you remember earlier, I told you I made this harness. This part was already made. I cut it off and just put this end on it. And it's just a 3-wire end. This is the matching portion of that. And it literally, it just, yeah, well, it's supposed to just pops on in there. Just like a regular factory car wiring harness type deal. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my factory harness off, or factory plug. I keep saying harness. I'm going to cut my factory plug off, and I'm going to replace it with this style plug right here. Alright. Alright, well, there's your factory plug. Alright, so I've got all my ends crimped on, and now I'm just going to go ahead and cover a little bit of this with some heat shrink tubing, just to kind of give a little added protection on this instead of just the tape. So I'll go ahead and heat shrink this on, and we'll get back to you. Okay, now that I've got my heat shrink on there, these connectors are, you know, pretty straightforward. They're pretty simple. They literally just push into the back of these and just lock in. So I say they're really easy to do, and no, they don't want to go in. There we go. And I'll just push them from the back side. Alright, if you're still with me here, so I've got my connector, I just pushed it in, and then put my heat shrink on, and yeah, so let's be honest, You got to take it back apart, pull all these pins back out if you forget to put that heat shrink on first. Ask me how I know. Anyway, so here's this little red, I'm not even sure what it's for, but it came with it. We're going to put them in. I don't know. So now what you have here is another harness. It's kind of, you know, I try and make it look pretty. But here's the harness I made earlier. And boom. Now we just snap on in and we go from Moto Guzzi harness to, I don't know, Denali. And inside of here there is you know, there's it's a 3-wire deal, and with Moto Guzzi they use a small relay, all right, and so that your signal wire is not carrying all the power to the lamps. These lamps use 1.5 amps, which is very, very minimal. So I've chosen to forego using the relay. The relay, all it does is your power wire that's in here, it uses that, turns and takes the signal wire, turns the relay on, and the relay takes the 12-volt power that comes from the battery to turn the lights on. That's all it's doing. Just because the power wire can carry a little bit more amperage, but in this case I don't believe it's necessary. You don't have to go off what I say. You can do it any way you want to, but this is just how I'm going to do it. So now, I probably shouldn't have connected that yet. I'm going to run my harness back in behind all of this, and there's a small hole here that I'm going to try to get my harness to fit through and come out and make it to where it's all hidden and back in behind all this plastic panel that hides all this and keeps it weatherproof. So let me try and fish all this through, huh? Okay, so I managed to get my wire down through there and up through to the top up here, which was no easy task, I'm not gonna lie. I ended up having to take this little box out. There's an Allen up inside of here, and up underneath of here is another Torx screw, which is nearly impossible to get to. I literally just crammed the plastic on the fuel tank up to get to it, but it is a real pain in the butt. So probably the hardest part of this project so far is just getting the wire routed where I wanted to. And it's not like it's really that critical. I just want it all hidden. That's basically what it comes down to. So now it's all hidden, and I like it. So, and it'll all tuck nice up inside of here. I've got all my zip ties and stuff all put back in. So I'm happy with it. So this part's done. Let's move on to putting the little clamps on here so we can start mounting the lights. Okay, so I've got my bracket on here, and I've got them mounted upside down. Well, I mean, to what they would normally be. I have them hanging, just because looking at clearance on here, I'm missing the bars there, and just missing, I don't know, can you see that? Where am I at here? And I'm just missing the headlight here, and it's just barely. And on top of that, there's this little plastic, I don't know, it's a castle nut protector or something, whatever. And all I'm doing here is I'm just kind of mocking this up to make sure that I have enough clearance on both sides, turn to turn, to make sure it's not going to interfere with anything. Now these forks are inverted, so when the suspension collapses, I'm not going to have to worry about this moving up and hitting the tank up in here. This will all stay stationary, so that's why you can get away with doing this. But it works real well. I like the fork mounts. In case anybody's wondering, your fork tubes right here measure 55 millimeters, which is like 2 1/8 of an inch, something like that, give or take. So Denali sells 2 different styles of fork mounts. One's the large, one's the small. If you get the small, you could mount them down here. on your fork tubes way down here, and then just, you know, sneak the wire up and, you know, run it up in behind. That's not what I wanted to do. I kind of wanted them up here. I think they just, you know, kind of fit my style a little better. So I'm going to go ahead and get this wire run. And I'm going to try and sneak this wire around to where it's not going to be seen. That's been kind of the whole thing with this, is I want this to be clean. I want it to look like, I don't want them to be a big visual thing. So probably sneak them up here. And there's some room up inside of this to hook all this extra wire. This is how long it was when, you know, just from the factory harness. It's what, probably 18 inches. God, I don't have any idea what that is in metric. Anyway, it's fairly long. So you've got plenty of room if you wanted to mount them down here to sneak your wire up and around. Or you could always make your harness bigger if you go with a harness like what I did here. I just got to figure out now where I'm going to put it. The kit sends you some zip ties. I mean, I can zip tie it up on here. I'm not sure I like that idea, but there might not be a whole lot of options here. It's going to have to come up here. I might just tie it up here with the rest of these cables here. I think that's what I'll do. Okay. Now let's go back. And all I'm doing here is I've tried to get this as even as I could with the other one. I don't know how close I managed to get. I sat on top of the bike and kind of looked down on it, and I don't know, it seems to be pretty close anyway. And these Denalis, they come with these nylon lock nuts on there so that they stay good and tight once you tighten them up. But I'm leaving it loose for right now, just making sure that I've got, yeah, just about the exact same clearance here. And I've got clearance back here so that I'm not hitting my bars. So I like it. I believe that's where this one here will sit. Yeah, I'll get that tightened up, but let's see where we're going to route this set of wires. There's actually a cross through inside. This piece up at the top pops loose because you've already got the screw out on the other side. So I think I'm going to see if I can fish this through here. Well, having a second set of hands on that side of the bike would be nice about now. Oh yeah, I believe we got her. And there's a whole wiring harness up here at the top, and I'll just go ahead and zip tie that to that, and we'll hook them up and see what they look like. Okay, so I just got done recording a segment about putting them plastic side panels back on, and realized I had it on photo, not video. So, surprise, the plastic pieces are back on. Now, in all honesty, I really thought this was going to be a lot easier to deal with than what it was. I thought it was going to be really quick, you know, simple, easy video. Hey, just pop this off, throw these on, blah, blah, blah. It was already pre-staged. Everything was great. Those plastic panels, my God. So, I've got these GB crash bars, engine guards, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. And this left one was a thorn in my butt the whole time. Constantly trying to work around it, and it's always in the way of whatever it was I was trying to do. So if I had to do it again, I would probably just save myself the time and take this side crash bar off, or at least loose enough to where I could get it down out of the way. Other than that, I mean, everything's really, it's just plug and play. I tried to make mine as clean and unobtrusive as possible, so that you don't really, you don't look at it and be like, wow, those are just, you know, wires hanging. I don't like that. So I went to the trouble of taking all this apart just so that I could get in behind all of it, and I think it turned out way better that way. So biggest thing now is, I reckon I'll fire it up and make sure they actually work, because I'd hate to have this entire video series going here and find out they don't work, because honestly I haven't tested them yet. So yeah. Moto Guzzi from the factory has these set up to where your fog lights, when they come on, they stay on even though your brights are on, which, you know, I've been to several different countries, and I'm pretty sure every country I've driven in, when you turn on your brights, your fog lights go out. It's like that here in the US as well. On all factory fog lights, as soon as you hit the high beams, your fog lights quit. They go off. I don't know if that's a law. If anybody knows if that's actually the law, let me know in the comments or something. But that's how I wanted mine wired to begin with. So that's why I bought the other harness, was so that I could make sure that I could get into the high beams and bypass that function of it shutting off, and, you know, let them stay on the whole time. But turns out it does it anyway. So if you're going to put in fog lights, just be aware of that. Moto Guzzi from the factory, they stay on when your brights are on. So overall, I'm really happy with the way this come out. I like the look of these fog lights. They're giant. I'm not gonna lie, they're huge. You know, obviously it's going to need some adjustment. I'm going to have to wait until it's a little darker, get them adjusted just where I want them, and then I'll be able to go out and, you know, make sure that they're lined up the way I want them. But all in all, I think it turned out great. I love them. We'll see how they work at nighttime and see how much extra light they give me. But not a bad project. Like I said, hardest part is fighting that engine guard. So if y'all have engine guards, you know, be prepared. If you don't, I'm not going to say easy sailing. It's not. It was I mean, to make it look fantastic and hide all the wires, it's a pain in the butt, but worth it. So until next time, guys, if you have any questions, hit me up in the comments section. I try and read them all, and I try to answer every one that I can. It's amazing how many of y'all have subscribed and watched these videos. I mean, I appreciate y'all subscribing, and I do. Like and subscribe it. You know, I mean, I don't know what it does for the channel. I guess it gets it to more people. If you don't want to subscribe, it's not a big deal. I don't care. You know, do what you want to do. I hope the video was helpful to y'all. If you're trying to make that decision on, you know, whether to get some fog lights or not, I would definitely do it. Even, I'm gonna be honest, even some little cheapy fog lights from eBay. Let me see, I've got some here. See if I can show you these things. I don't know if there's I don't even know what they're called. But same deal. They've got power, ground, signal. I I started mounting those to the crash bars. I was going to have another set of fog lights and have all 4 lights running. But I don't know. Good judgment, I think, stepped in, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that. But expensive lights, the ones from Guzzi, I mean, they're expensive. These are expensive. Most, you know, good high quality fog lights are going to be expensive. They got those Cree LEDs. But even if you wanted just a little extra light or just like the look, don't be afraid to get those ones from like eBay, you know, the cheapies like that. Find a place to mount them, and you already see, you know, I've showed you where the harness is. You see where the plug is, how easy it is to just hook into there. You don't even have to have all those special connectors. You can literally just use those crimp-on bug connectors and go that route, and the switch on there is going to work. So I hope this was helpful to y'all. You know, again, like and subscribe if you want to. And we'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.